Hey guys, welcome to our first session of AgileWorthwhile. And so here today you have the three Agile coaches here that are going to be mentoring you. And this is going to be your best channel. Wait until you hear our content. And again, let me just go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Sunjo Kia, and people that I work with, they know me by Yvonne Sunjo. And here's, I've worked with so many companies, and my most recent was over in Cisco. And I have great experience with Scrum, Kanban, Safe, and coaching, agile implementation, and all that good stuff. Jira Align, a lot of metrics. And that's a little bit about me, but I know a lot of people, you all know me. I've mentored a lot of people, coached a lot of people that are out there working. And today we're going to start this session to give away free knowledge. And this is free knowledge, guys. Do not miss out our session. And that's Sunjo Kia. Up next, I'm going to let Pete go and introduce himself.
Hey everyone, I'm Pete Allen. Hopefully you can hear me well. Yeah, I've really enjoyed, my whole life I've been in project management and things, but when they started doing the switch over to Agile, it really made it gave me a new sense of purpose. My belief in Agile is pretty strong, sometimes to a fault, but it's made an impact anywhere I've gone. So yeah, I appreciate this opportunity to share what I know and give some knowledge to others.
Great. Thank you,
Thanks,
Pete.
Pete.
And up next, we have Richard.
Hey, gang, Richard Hand here. I come from a big background of a lot of different companies. Started off in the waterfall space. I had an early company whose agile manifesto style was ready, fire, aim, fire, which is just to say, fail fast, figure out what works, and adjust. I've used that the rest of my career. You use it at home, you use it in scouts, you use it with the kids, and I've used it at work. There's a lot of things I think we have to share. This is a group of very senior experts with a lot of experience, and we want to help you get the job you can get. We want to help you do the job well. It takes a lot to do that. And what we're going to do is walk through the next couple of weeks where we're going to share with you a number of tricks that are going to help you, but also things that can help you with your style, that help you bring art to the science of software delivery, especially in Scrum.
Great. Thank you, Richard. And you guys can see the awesome coaches you're having. And again, we're going to do this freestyle, no scripting and all that. And so today we're going to focus on, everybody that's out there. I know a lot of people that are out there looking for jobs. A lot of companies are doing a lot of reshuffling, a lot of layoffs, a lot of experienced people out there looking for jobs. But now the key question is, you are looking for a Scrum Master job or an RT or Agile coach job. What is that main thing as a job seeker? What are you doing? So number one, we're going to focus on the theme for today. We're going to focus on is your LinkedIn and your resume. Like, how do you build a great resume and a great LinkedIn profile? What is the main difference between your LinkedIn profile and your resume? And what are those key captivating, keywords you should at least have in your, Scrum Master resume or RT, whatever that main role is. What is that? What are those keywords? So those are the things we're going to be discussing today. And I'd like to go ahead and just kick us off a little bit on, what I have in my little mind is number one, when you're building your resume, your Scrum, let's focus on Scrum, right? Your Scrum Master resume. When you're building your resume, the number one thing you want to have on your resume is, your order of name, the way it is on your socials, and then your location, like where you're located. And you don't need to put like details like your apartment number, no. But you can put, the actual location, like the address of the apartment. If you're living in a home, you put the home. But number one thing, you want to put your city and your state and the zip code. Because a lot of companies, again, when they're, hiring new candidates, they want to know your location because that affects taxes. The way they pay you, it differs, right? So putting that location and that zip code is number one information you want to have on your resume. And next, you want to make sure you have your career objective. What is that main objective? What makes you stand out? And the career objective, this is where you describe who you are, your soft skills, your hard skills, like what is that one main thing that makes you stand out from the other 30 candidates that apply for this job. So this is where you want to sit down and write everything that makes you unique. And then up next, you just go ahead and put in all your different, the different companies you work for, the title, your title, Scrum Master, and then, the state, and the duration, the start date and end date, and then you just put your key bullet points. And key bullet points here, this is where you throw out your main functions, what you were doing at that job, your main role, and you can go deep into like putting maybe challenges or like your success story, one main achievement you achieve in that role. And then the last thing underneath is make sure you add your education. And under education, you want to make sure you put all the degrees you have, right? And then after education, you put your certifications or any Agile related certification, you want to put it on there. And before you got into Agile, what was that other, maybe you were a nurse or whatever you had, maybe an architect, whatever certifications you had before, also put it there. Because when you're telling your story on how you got into Agile, it's good to like make sure that you've stayed from where you started so people can, understand how you came in and your reason why. Okay, so that for me, that's the main thing I have on my resume. And then on my LinkedIn is just pretty much most of the things I have on my resume, but to my LinkedIn again, I want to just maybe give one or two bullet points where I make sure my LinkedIn, you should have a profile picture on your LinkedIn for me so people can match, like, this is the person, match your name and, your name to your face. That's number one thing I tell all my, mentors and, people that I've been mentoring for a while. So your LinkedIn picture and then your LinkedIn, the main bullet points you have on your resume, you don't need to highlight all those bullet points in your LinkedIn, right? Just your career objectives, then the companies you work for, you put it, and then you put one main paragraph that you describe what you're actually doing in that company. So you don't need to go into too much detail like what you did on your resume. Those are my key things that I know on LinkedIn. And then your degree, under education, you want to put your degree and your certifications also. And then your main skill sets, like any Agile related skill sets you have, you want to make sure that it's on there so the people that you work with, they can go ahead and endorse you, and it shows that you're very legit. And that's pretty much about what I have. And I'm going to hand it over to Richard to add on to what I just said.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I think if you, as you sit down and you think about yourself and you decided, I want to get into be a Scrum Master. You've done some experience, maybe you've worked with somebody that didn't have done that work or heard about it, or just it fits up your alley of the way you like to solve problems and the work you want to do. Think about your presenting yourself like a storefront. And when you think about your LinkedIn is kind of like looking in the window. They can only see a few things. They don't see all the prices. They don't see all the options. They don't see all the details. They can't see the sizes. They can't feel the fabric, right? But they can see colors and they can see some context of the kinds of things that you sell. So LinkedIn is meant to be a summary. High level, this is about me. This is the kind of work I like to do. I've been in this job. At this job, I had this responsibility. And I kind of did a few of these things. Very little detail. As Keith mentioned, when you get into the resume, I get a little bit more detail, right? I'm going to be a little bit more specific. I'm going to call out some things, and I'm going to write my success story and the work that I did in the format of what was the situation, the project, what did I accomplish, and what was the impact. You having been on a project and you doing something means nothing on a resume until you tell me what the result was. And the result should be measurable as best you can get it. Because of this project, we reduced the cost of customer service activities by 18%. Because of this project, we saved the company 17% in overall year-over-year cost due to licensing, right, options. So when you think about your LinkedIn, it's a storefront. You want them to want to come in. When they come inside, they get your resume. They come inside, you give them the resume, give them a little bit more detail. Be ready for the interview. The interview is one-on-one contact, and now I'm going to talk about the things I gave you on the resume. They're going to read, oh, you worked on a project. You saved customer service 18% due to better handling time. How did you do that? And now you tell your story. How did you do that? I brought together a team. We focused on these outcomes. We built solutions that look like this. We made sure our features were robust. We started with an MVP. We grew it over time. That's the story they want to hear. That's what they want to hear that you did. So think about that, right? This is just early entry. But remember, like with Stephen Covey, you start with the end in mind. Your end is to get a job. What do you need to do? I need to be present socially. I need to be present digitally, which is my LinkedIn. I want them to call me and ask me for my resume. I want to be able to give that to them. And I want to be able to show up in the interview and tell a great story about what they read on LinkedIn and on my resume. And I'll kick it over to Pete because there's some things I left out on purpose.
Oh, am I going to pass the test? I don't know. I can't really think of too much more value to add to that. You guys covered a lot of good bases. I think just on the same topic, it's your storytelling is the key. So if you have something and memorize that resume, know it well, know that LinkedIn very well. Your LinkedIn, like I think it was mentioned, it should reflect your core beliefs as a person anyway. You should be having things on there that identify what your passion is. Like if you love cultivating an atmosphere of support within teams, those kind of things that could be a personal or professional foundation in your life. So I probably didn't cover what Richard had in mind. Richard?
No, that's perfect. One thing I would throw out, because you hit on it, but you didn't use the key phrase or whatever they call it on LinkedIn, but there are skills that you will highlight in each of your jobs. And I think you get up to 10 per different role that you're in.
Mhm.
Take advantage of linking and highlighting the skills that both show strength of Scrum Master work, organization, influence without direct authority, team building, right? Communication.
Mhm.
Those, right?
Yeah.
You want to call out those skills. There are a lot of jobs out there that before they ever talk to you, they will run your LinkedIn through an algorithm and it will pick out buzzwords.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you want to highlight budget management, teamwork, right? Those sorts of
Yeah.
things. To Pete's point, because those are things you're passionate about, why you want to be a Scrum Master. So,
Mhm. And to add on to what you just said, like when if you don't know like the keywords to highlight, you go to the job description, just go to that Scrum Master job you're trying to look. Look at the job description, you see exactly what they're looking for. And then you can, see some of those skill sets that are looking for that you actually have and you missed out on your LinkedIn. And that's how you go and add your different skill set on your LinkedIn. And another thing, just to add on to, this is something new that I also did, is that, the skill set assessment, that part where, you have to take an assessment on LinkedIn and you get verified on those different skill sets. So that's something is good to do because once you pass it, when anybody comes to your LinkedIn, they'll know for sure you know all of those things that are looking for. You're saying Scrum Master, you should have passed that test. All those skill sets that you're saying you have, you actually do have it. You've taken a test on them and you've backed up yourself. So thank you again, Pete, for bringing that up. And again, just before we close out the session, because we're going to make this session very brief and straight to the point, so you can learn something. But I want to highlight again, like what is that main key difference between your resume and your LinkedIn profile? And just to summarize again, what we're talking here is your resume. That's where you deep dive and you add on those detailed, career objectives, detailed bullet points, and detailed description on what you were doing in each of your job experiences or each of the companies or the projects you work on and what the project was all about. You don't need to deep dive into like the exact too much sensitive information about that project, but just an overview, a highlight what that project was all about. And that's number one. Meanwhile, your LinkedIn, as Richard was saying, is that window where you just, you're showing who you are, but it's not so detailed. But it's that thing you use to advertise yourself, where with a glance of it, they'll want to meet you and learn more about who you are, learn more about this skill set you said you have. Ask you those questions to see if you actually, those skill set that you say you have, you actually possess them. Okay, and that's pretty much the process. And after you go for that interview, you back up yourself, there comes your job offer.
Yeah.
And then comes the dollars.
Them
And that's
walk
where we want to be, right?
yeah, make them open the door, walk into the shop, and take the first step with that first
Yeah.
phone call or email. But yeah, there's a lot to uncover, and you don't want to give to them all at once.
Yeah. Yeah. And so guys, again, back to our plan is we have a theme. And we're currently, the first team is pretty much introduction, where we talk about linking resume and how you apply for jobs. And then the next team is going to be where we're deep diving into like maybe metrics, different dashboard, how to be a great Scrum Master, like, Scrum Master interview questions and answers, like best answers to them, stuff like that. So you need to stay tuned. And our plan for our next session is to go and go really deep into explaining how to build a great LinkedIn profile. Now we're going to talk about those soft skills, those hard skills, and the key things, and we're going to showcase a good LinkedIn profile. Maybe I can just go ahead and showcase mine, or any of the coaches can showcase theirs too, just so you can see what we're talking about. And it's not just talking, you see some of those visuals. So what I would say is go ahead and subscribe to our new channel. This is the beginning of a very great channel, and you want to stay tuned. And again, I'll let my colleagues go ahead and say their goodbyes.
Real
Richard?
fast.
Yeah.
Thank you all for taking the time to get this far through the video. Look for us in the future. You're going to hear a lot of rich content. And we're going to, like Kia said, we're going to get into some details. We're going to talk about our experiences. You'll find that these experiences repeat themselves. You'll be able to do these things.
Great.
Yeah, I was going to finish out. Not only like and subscribe, obviously, but we're also going to have contact information for ourselves, so that you know how to reach us if you need anything at all. In general, we're here for you.
Yeah, and let's say you're having an interview coming up and you need somebody to coach you hand on hand and prep for that interview. Just send us an email and we'll, have that one-on-one session with you. Any of the coaches you choose, just send out an email. Thank you and stay tuned.
Cheers, everybody.
Signing off.
Bye.